Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Spa. It is round 6 of the Euroformula Open and qualifying is underway. The first of 3 qualifying sessions we are going to have this weekend. This will set the grid for race 1, which will come up at 4:05 local time here in Belgium. As ever, 25 minutes on the clock. The clock is ticking. The car's wasting no time. Drivers getting straight out there. It is very cold out there. This is going to be the very first session we have on track. So the track is going to be cold. Getting tyres up to temperature is going to be crucial. We're expecting all the drivers to do 2 runs. They'll probably go through 2 sets of tyres. And on each of those sets, they're probably only going to get 2 or 3 flying laps. So this is going to be perhaps the most difficult qualifying session they will have all season. It's a track they've all been looking forward to coming, though. Many of them went out yesterday for the first free practice session, and their first time entering the track. It's the first time they had ever done a lap round here. As ever, to talk you through the action this weekend is myself, Chris McCarthy. Elliot Wood is alongside me. We'll bring him in just a second. Last time out, the cars were at Mugello. Very wet weekend it was, and another great weekend of racing. It hasn't changed a huge amount in the championship. Winners that weekend were Lucas Dunner and Ben Barnico. Was great to see him there. Lucas Dunner is now second in the championship. Andreas Essner, a difficult second race for him last time out, but a very good round once again for Nicolas Crutzen. So they are only split now by 5 points in the battle for third in the standings. Fifth is Manuel Maldonado, 6th Zane Maloney, Ido Cubbins 7th, and it's Ayrton Simmons, Sebastian Essner and Cameron Daz. A couple of new faces to the championship for this round. Both Louis Foster and Benjamin Pedersen have come along to have a play. And Benjamin Pedersen is on camera there for you. Let's bring in Elliot Woods. Elliot, let's talk about Benjamin Pedersen. We'll come to Louis Foster in just a second. Tell us what you know about the number 8.
Well, Benjamin's done a lot of Formula 3 racing over in America and now in Britain as well, so he's got good experience at this kind of downforce level of these cars. But this is his first time racing on the European continent. And as we'll see, his kind of bright orange cars, it goes across the start-finish line, sponsored by Dirtfish, which is actually a rally school. But obviously he's a driver pursuing a single-seater career, so very interesting background. And I was talking to him yesterday, and he's potentially going to be continuing in this championship next year, or maybe he'll look elsewhere. Lots of exciting opportunities ahead. And
Louis Foster in that double R car, usually filled by Ayrton Simmons, of course.
Yeah, he also does BRDC British Formula 3 this year alongside Pedersen. He's third in the points there, has several wins to his name already, is right in the thick of the title chase, and that series rewards consistency, so he's in a good position there. Both of them had a bit of a tricky day yesterday, and I think everyone did, because track time got limited by a few red flags and a lot of kind of cold temperatures. It wasn't that relevant to bed in the brakes and tyres, so it'll be tricky for them today. But Spa-Francorchamps, a great driver's circuit, so it really does show the talent, even if you haven't got the experience.
And we were just having a look at Alexandre Bardignon there. Went and had a chat with him yesterday, and he was telling me about the challenges of driving this circuit, and saying, the first time you drive down to Eau Rouge, it is scary, but by the end you do get used to it. Absolutely fantastic circuit this. They're pulling about 230 Ks when they go up there. Absolutely crazy. And he was telling me a lot about the kind of corners we're coming into now, these fast flowing corners, that a lot of them you have to go in flat out and then hit the brakes. It's quite an odd sensation to think, I've got to slow the car down, but first I've got to turn in flat to get the car through it and make the downforce work properly. So it was really interesting to talk to him, but he said, they'll probably go through 2 sets. They'll probably only do 2 or 3 laps on each. And as you said, red flags can come out. So the first few laps here, the first couple of laps, are very crucial. They've got to get a good lap in this first flyer, because a red flag could come out straight away and they might not get another chance to go out there and set a lap.
Yeah, it's two sides of the same coin. You want to get out early, get a lap just in case you do have those disruptions. But because the track's so cold, setting a lap now is going to be way slower than if you set a lap in 10 minutes time. So you know, you've got to be careful with how you do this with strategy, especially when we have 2 runs. You know, they are going to spend time in the pits in the middle of this session. So if you time that wrong, it can cost you, you know, a further 5 minutes down the line when you're getting your second set of tyres up to speed.
Well, as you can see, Yiffy, Cameron Daz, Maldonado, Lucas Dunner, Rui Andrade have decided, and Ido Cohen has just come into the pit. But those 5 drivers at the back have decided they want everyone else to do the work and warm up the track for them. Andreas Essner just making his way up to the line now. He goes 4th. Spoke to Glenn Van Berlo. He's really excited for this round. I had a chat with him on Thursday, and having never driven this track, he was hugely excited to get out there. Saw him go off for a track walk that evening, and Zane Maloney as well, feeling very confident for this round. He still has his eyes on a top 3 finish in the championship. Does Zane? His words to me were, if we can go out and win most races, then we've got a chance, and he feels very confident coming into this weekend that both driver car working very well together, and he feels they're becoming more of a rounded package there. So he's looking forward to this weekend. And here is Glenn Van Berlo. While the track is a little bit quiet, why don't we talk about the last round?
Yeah, so at Mugello we had the kind of surprise addition at Carlin of Ben Barnicoat, who is a McLaren factory GT driver. Used to race in Formula 3, this kind of car, about 4 or 5 years ago, but hasn't really raced in a single-seater since. And he was brought in to help Zane and Ido Cohen at Carlin to kind of get their setup development going forward in a direction that was going to suit both of those drivers. And it seemed to do the trick, despite it, raining a lot of water at the Italian circuit. Ben Barnicoat ended up taking a pole and a win. And then in our other race of the weekend, Lucas Dunner of Crypto Tower Racing, he took a dominant success there in the rain. Overtaking was difficult, but it was a great kind of strategic gamble by both of the drivers who won those races. And the title fight has got a little closer because of Lucas Dunner's win. I think it is still close to like 60 points between Yiffy and Dunner, but going off the Formula 3 practice as well, we're definitely getting a proper fight at the front now.
Yeah, well, it's 244 for Yiffy, Lucas on 155, Andreas on 116, Nicholas on 111, Maldonado and Maloney tied on 81 points, and then Cohen on 70. Of course, Ayrton Simmons not here. His car filled by Louis Foster. Then it's Essner and Cameron Daz, who are both here. Cameron Daz hasn't gone out onto the circuit yet. And there is Zane Maloney. It's due to be dry all weekend, but then again, it is Spa. You know when you get here. It's my first time here. It's your, I think, third
or fourth, yeah.
Third or fourth time here. And when you get to the circuit, you're here. You don't have to actually look at any signs because the fog comes straight away.
Yeah, it's a microclimate. It's the easiest way to describe it. The weather system here is completely different to down the road in one of the local towns like Malmedy or Stavolo. There's just a very strange weather system here. And because of the undulation of the track and how long the track is as well, it is the longest on the calendar, it means you can have different weather at one end of the circuit to the other.
That's exactly what Alexandre Bardignon was telling me. And before we focus on times, I was actually speaking to one of the GT teams about the weather. And he said to me, they found over the years that throughout there's huge forests around. And he said those section of trees can create their own weather that kind of rises up and then drops itself onto the circuit. So the weather doesn't actually come in from anywhere else. It kind of comes from the trees. I don't know how that works. Very strange, but it is fascinating, and I guess explains why the weather is so unique here at Spa. But let's talk about some times. We've got Zane Maloney leading the way. He is on camera for you now, the number 31 Carlin driver. He's making his way up to the chicane. Into the first part of the chicane he goes, and he's going to come into the pits. He leads the way, 2:11.8. There's a lock-up from Sebastian Essner, who goes straight on and might miss pit exit now. He decides to go around anyway. He's second on a 2:11.9. Pedersen is fourth with Bardignon in third place.
And what we saw there is a good example of the biggest challenge of cold weather driving at Spa-Francorchamps. You do have the very long straight, the Camel Straight, and you also have the run from kind of Stavolo all the way up to the final chicane. And essentially the tyres and the brakes lose so much temperature when you're going in a straight line that when you get to a corner, there's just no heat in them and they don't work. So for drivers, it can be quite scary doing these kinds of things in the early morning. As you say, Esno go through Eau Rouge. Thankfully, that's kind of a full throttle corner, so you wouldn't need to worry about the brakes there. But it's at Lecombe at the end of the Kemmel Straight that we're watching now, where you will see it. The car is not going to be handling brilliantly because of the cold.
Got to watch the cars around here yesterday, actually. Brilliant to see them up this section of the track. I did get to Eau Rouge, the bottom of Eau Rouge, and then the red flag came out. Absolutely gutted. Here's Sebastian Esner on track now. What have you made of Sebastian's season so far?
I think he's done a good job. I think the Van Amersfoort racing drivers, if I had to sum up their season, is on lap 1 they've been very unlucky on a lot of the races, and that's kind of undone some good results for them. But as we've seen in free practice today and in qualifying and previous rounds, that the 1 lap pace is definitely there for this team, and definitely there for Sebastian Andreas Esner. It's just about hooking it up in the races and making sure they get through those first laps cleanly.
Rui Andrade and Manuel Maldonado have gone out. The latter I spoke to yesterday. I had a quick chat with Manuel. Now, he didn't get the position in free practice that where he finished in free practice wasn't exactly what he would have wanted, but he said with the times that they were setting, the sector times they were setting, if they didn't have a lap deletion, he would have been second. So he could be one to watch in this session as Sebastian Esner makes his way now down to Blanchimont. Tell us about free practice yesterday.
So we had the first session, which was disrupted by a red flag early on. And that was when there was fog pretty much all around the circuit, so I don't think drivers minded too much, given the visibility was low. But then we had further disruptions through the day. We had 3 sessions, because we've got 3 races this weekend. The pace did improve, but because it was so cold, you know, drivers were saving tyres and brakes. We weren't bedding in pads yet until today and this morning. I think Lucas Dunner set the pace in FP3, and he was just slower than what Yiffy set in FP2, his teammate. Maldonado did actually set the fastest time of anyone in that FP3, but I think he kind of skated across the curbs at Lecombe for the reason I explained earlier. You know, it's so cold, the brakes weren't up to temperature, and that cost him. And because he hadn't set any other representative lap times, he ended up like 12 seconds off the pace.
Yeah.
Purely off that. And in that session, drivers only got like 4 or 5 laps in because we had so much disruption. It wasn't an easy day for the inexperienced drivers, including Double R Racing's Louis Foster here. But, you know, qualifying session and 3 races this weekend, you're getting more track time, really, than any other race weekend in the Euroformula season, especially with a longer track as well. Yeah,
he's got a real task on his hands this weekend as Louis Foster. He's got exactly the same task Ayrton Simmons had, although he's just jumping straight in the car. So let's see how he gets on. Has British F3 experience, of course. So Louis Foster on camera now, making his way down towards Lecombe. Currently, he sits in 5th place, 1.3 off of pole position. But the qualifying session really is just about to start, because everyone is now out, bar Andreas Esner and Sebastian Esner, who are still in the pits, but will be making their way out very shortly, I'm sure. But this is basically it. This is when we're going to start. Andreas currently down in 9th. Is that something to worry about? I mean, he hasn't really completed the time yet, as he's only done like 2 flying laps, but
yeah, he's done a 2:18, and Zane Maloney's currently on a 2:11. There's a huge disparity in the times here, and you know, drivers weren't working together on the first runs. Normally you'd see with long straights at circuit, you'd have giving each other slipstreams, which these 2 drivers are not doing. That is,
well, Zane
Maloney.
Zane did not want to go past there, did he? He wanted to be the one getting the tow, and now he realises that he's, who is this? This is Sebastian Esner.
I believe it's Bardignon.
It's Bardignon, yeah, Alex.
It's not sensible driving from either of these drivers here. You're going slow through these sections, a lot of blind corners, and like you said earlier, late apexes as well. You are going in as late as possible, hitting the brakes, turning it in. Single seater, you always kind of take to the inside curbs at this circuit. So driver will come around the corner and not see these guys. So very unsensible. There's nothing to gain from going slowly anyway, because you want to get those tyres and those brakes up to temperature anyway. So
well, Zane has just bailed out of trying to get a tow now, and he's gone for it, it looks like. So we are just about to get started, really. We may be 15 minutes into the session, but as you can see in the background, we've got 2 guys on a bit of a flyer there, but the proper lap times still yet to be set. Zane Maloney is the quickest, and he's come straight into the pits. Well, that explains that then. as Bardignon's going to come across the line. It looks like Glenn Van Berlo in the background. Ido Cohen, who we pick up the picture here at the front, the number 6, turning into the right-hander now. He is on a flying lap. He's gone purple through sector 1, and he's gone green through sector 2, and you can see just how wide he turned the car there into the left. I think he was caught out by the car on the inside, and it's going to put him 7th place for the time being, but he will go for another. He had a really slow middle sector, so clearly was either held up or backed out of that lap. As let's take a look at a replay then. I think this, oh, well, there we go. That was Ido Cohen getting his elbows out a little bit too much, in my opinion, on Matthias
that's a driver
Luton.
We should be mentioning. That is Matthias Luton, who was provisionally down as a practice-only entry. He's turned up in qualifying. He didn't mention that last night when I spoke to him, so he's
decided overnight that he wants to race.
Yeah, and what a great circuit to race at.
Yeah, but tell us a little bit more about Matthias Luton.
So he's a bit older than the rest of the drivers here. He's kind of at the very start of his car racing career, and so far his only racing experience, I believe, has been in the Austrian Formula Renault Cup a year and a half ago. Did Formula Renault Euro Cup round at Yas Marina at the end of last year, and then he did kind of the equivalent of Boss GP. It's kind of like a spin-off.
Oh yes,
yeah,
that was at Monza.
Yeah, and he took pole by several seconds in damp conditions in an old GP2 car. But I think the clutch basically burned out on him at the end of the session, so he couldn't actually race the car in either of the races.
Oh no!
As far as I'm aware, I'm going to have to double check that. He's coached by Callan O'Keefe of School of Send. Yeah, so maybe I'll message Callan while I'm in the box and get the full lowdown on Matthias.
Yeah, get it out there. We've got plenty of action coming up. We've got another qualifying session at 11:50 local time, and then we race at 4 o'clock. So we'll definitely head round and have a chat to the drivers before then. 8 minutes on the clock. You can see on picture now Ido Cohen making his way up to Blanchimont. He's gone quickest through the first sector, personal best middle sector, trying to challenge his teammate who's in 3rd. Manuel Maldonado has just gone to the top. Louis Foster in 2nd place. Right, here we go. Ido Cohen coming up to the final corner. Concentrates on getting a good run out of that final corner, and up to the line he goes. Is he going to go any quicker? He goes to 7th, but Rui Andrade has just gone quickest. So Rui Andrade, who just went through turn 1, going quickest in the 99. Maldonado is now in 2nd. There is championship leader Yafie just making his way out of the first corner, and now down towards Eau Rouge. We haven't properly seen them come through here yet, so why don't we have a look at it here? We can see going up Eau Rouge now. It's Crypto Tower racing driver making his way down the Kemmel Straight. That is Lucas Dunner we saw in the predominantly purple liveried coloured car. Here's Ido coming into Lake Hume, and now we pick up Lucas Dunner, winner last time out, making his way through. He is currently sitting down in 14th, but he's about to go for a proper flying lap here. He and his teammate both down the order, but Rui Andrade, meanwhile, has gone to the top of the standings. So the 3rd of the Crypto Tower racing drivers at the top. Maldonado in 2nd, Foster in 3rd, Maloney in 4th place. We have lots of people improving on this lap. Louis Foster is about to come across the line. He's done 2 personal best sectors. We've also got Zane Maloney improving, Cohen improving, Pedersen improving, Van Berlo, Luton. Everyone out there is pretty much improving. As you can see, Lucas Dunner below his name there. Green highlighted first sector. Going well so far. Louis Foster, we said to watch out for him. He's just gone to the top with a 2:11.313. So great driving from the British driver there. He goes 4.5 tenths clear as we are about to enter the final 5 minutes of the session. We keep an eye on Lucas Dunner, who makes his way now down towards Blanchimont. We'll pick up Ido Cohen, who's there first. He's been improving every lap so far, but has currently only improved to 7th. Can he now break that trend and go a little bit quicker? It looks like he's always backed off through this final corner. Let's see if he goes for it this time. Yes, he does. So that's the first time we've seen him go at speed through that final corner. Up to the line he comes. Maldonado ahead goes quickest. Cohen goes 2nd. He was a bit wide out of the final corner, so he's got to be careful there. Lucas Dunner has gone 4th place. So it's Maldonado, Cohen, Van Berlo, Maloney, Dunner, Foster, Pedersen, Andrade, Bardignon into the top 10. And another improvement there as well. Nicholas Cruton going up to 5th place. Pedersen to 9th. That puts Andrade down to 10th. Then it's BELGIUM, Esner, Luton. We still wait to see Yifie. He's about to come up to the line. Let's see what he can do. Up to the line, he comes in the back of picture, and he goes to the top. 2:10.212, half a second quicker than anyone else.
Yeah, a great lap there. Louis Foster also did a great job, given he only got 5 flying laps in this car and at this circuit yesterday. And he's already in the top 10, only 1.1 second off Yifie, which, a circuit this long is, a good gap to have to the championship leader.
It's not bad at all, is it? And Louis Foster, speaking of, he's improving on this lap. We've just had a lap time deletion there, so we've had a change to the top 10 as we can see Sebastian Esner making his way down towards Leicu. Yee, Cohen, Maloney, Cruton, Dunner, Daz, Foster, Pedersen, Andrade and Maldonado, your top 10 in that order. Andreas Esner now on a flying lap. He's done 2 purple sectors. He's about to make his way up to the final corner. Here he comes, Andreas Esner. We pick him up. We were following Sebastian. Now we pick up his brother, his older brother, Andreas Esner, who comes out of the final corner, makes his way up to the start-finish line. It's been 2 purple sectors so far, and that puts him fastest, 2:09.866. Got to be careful of track limits, though. It was Sebastian Esner who had a lap time deletion, and there's a red flag. Red flag has come out, so we've got an incident somewhere, and we've got, that looks like that's Matthias Luton, sorry, and he's had a spin coming through No Name and is now facing the wrong way. So the DriveX driver with a spin coming out of the left-hander, and Matthias Luton is stuck there. And I think, Elliot, that's going to be the end of the session, because we only have 3 minutes and 41 seconds left on the clock, which has stopped, but there's a chance that that might be it. What do you reckon?
I think it may well be. All the drivers are returned to the pits, and by the time it takes to do an out lap after this red flag and then a flying lap and get everything up to temperature again, you're not likely to go quicker than your best time, apart from maybe Nicholas Cruton, who is at the bottom here.
Yeah, he's 9 seconds back, isn't he? Yeah. Glenn Van Berlo 5, so this is the danger of either getting your times deleted or leaving it so late.
And Yifie might be on pole now, because Andreas Esner's just had his 2:09.866 lap deleted.
Not a surprise, because he came very wide out of the final chicane. So, it was at turn 9, they say.
It has been updated. So our current...
That was at Leicu. This corner here, actually, you're looking at, he's gone all 4 wheels off to the right there, and that's a lap time deletion. Yeah,
and our current front row now is Yifie and Ido Cohen with Zane Maloney in 3rd. So whatever tricks Ben Barnicoat did at Mugello have worked at Spa-Francorchamps as well.
Yeah, that was bad news for Andreas Esner, because that actually drops him down to 12th.
Yeah, Matthias Luton is only 4.6 seconds off the pace, and was basically his first start at this level, the single-seaters. And Louis Foster up in 5th place, 0.66 seconds. A great job by Louis Foster. So he's how many laps he's done in this session? 9 laps. He's only done 14 laps in this car in total.
It's not bad, is it? Not bad at all. Now, there is Louis Foster, and really impressive, and he will be very happy with that. The drivers that need to get back out, as Elliot says, are Andreas Esner. He's 2.9 seconds back. He should be a lot closer, at least a second, within a second. Matthias Luton, 4.5 back. He'll want to go back out. Glenn Van Berlo, his fastest lap was his 2nd, which suggests he's had a lot of time deletions, perhaps. He's 4.6 back. And Nicholas Cruton is 9 seconds back. And no one in this championship will be 9 seconds off. So he's either been getting penalties, i.e. lap time deletions, or he just hasn't got up to speed yet, has been finding traffic, has been backing off, whatever. So he is going to go straight back out. But I think the top 6 at least will call it a day there.
Yeah,
let's have a look.
Yifie only set 3 flying laps in total, less than anyone else.
Well, that's all he needs to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the confidence of a man who leads the championship by as much as he does, which is just shy of 100 points. Right, here we go. That sounds like a green flag, or drivers moving towards the end of the pit lane to get themselves ready to go. Not quite a green flag yet. The clock is still at 3 minutes and 41 seconds. A time is 2 minutes and 10 if you're at speed. So they're going to get one flying lap. Basically, it's going to be take your time going round to the line, warm the tyres up as much as possible, get a gap, and then go for it. But we are glad to hear Matthias Luton is okay. There you can see Matthias Luton has had a spin coming out of turn 11 on the run towards Pouhon.
I think that corner's off camber, so as you go back onto the throttle, the rear end basically slides downwards on the track almost as you come to the exit of the corner.
Yeah, it's a very tricky corner, isn't it? It's, like you said, it's because it's downhill, you're carrying a lot of speed through there. It's a very quick corner, particularly in these cars. That's when Ido Cohen was setting himself up for a lap. You can see the wide line they'll take to get a run then down towards turn number 1. Nicholas Cruton, this is going to be a very important 3.5 minutes for him. He's going to have to, it's going to be damage limitation for him now, isn't it? He's going to have to try and get those tyres up to temperature as best he can. And for someone who has finished in the top 10 in every single race so far this season, this is a little bit of a disaster for him. This is Andreas Esner, likewise not a good situation for him either. He had a podium last time and a 10th. Let's see what he can do in this one. He's going to be going back out on track. The Carlin team will be very happy with this. As you said, the services of Ben Barnico last time have really helped. And as Maloney said to me, he really feels that the setup now is starting to come together, that everything is starting to gel there down at Carlin. He said in these cars, he raced British F4 last year, and he said you can go out in those cars and be quick, or at least selling some good lap times with the setup is not crucial. But he said the setup in these cars is crucial. If you're driving at your best, that doesn't really matter. You have to have the setup nailed on as well. Both have to come together. And if you do that, well, I think Yiffy is an example of the kind of success he has had with clearly a team that's clearly a setup that suits him particularly. And that's exactly what Zane Maloney said to me. It's very important that the setup is nailed on these cars. And it's Carlin, a very successful team, but clearly it's just getting towards Zane's driving style, and he's starting to get very comfortable. That said, I think he puts very high expectations on himself, Zane. This is only his 2nd year in cars, and he wants to be out there winning, and he's racing against drivers that have been racing in FIA F3, who have been in single-seater racing for a lot longer than he has. But his history of karting, British F4, he's been very successful, and he wants nothing else than to go out there and win races, and I guess you've got to respect that. But the cars are getting ready at the end of the pit lane. There's Bardignon in the 25. This is Glenn Van Berlo in the 12. He, likewise, has to go out there and get a good lap now.
There can be no messing about from any of these drivers if they want to get around, get across the line in time, and even get a slipstream.
Well, you say that, but the clock's ticking, by the way, so the cars are out. Everyone's gone out, haven't they? The drivers that haven't yet are everyone's either in the pits or on an out lap now. So everyone is out there. Louis Foster's just the last one now to leave. So here we go, and you can see it's like they're racing on a first lap. They are at speed. The situation now is they are going to get, look, we're side by side here. Is this Yiffy and Bardignon, is it? They're going to be side by side going in towards Les Combes. So it's like the first lap of a race here, because everyone wants to make it round to the line as quickly as possible. A lap is 2 minutes and 10 seconds. They're going to get one lap here, and that's it. It's all about getting the tyres up to temperature. So they're going at race speed. They feel this is the best way now to get some heat in the tyres. We can see Sebastian Esner 2nd in this queue. He's 11th, so this is going to be a very important lap for him. But a one-lap shootout, really, in qualifying. We've got, I'd say, the top 11 drivers have set respectable times, but Andreas Esner, Matthias Luton, Glenn Van Berlo, Nicholas Cruton haven't. Matthias Luton is out of the session after he crashed, brought out the red flag. His car has been recovered, but that is his session done. Sebastian Esner 2nd in this queue. Lucas Dunner is the car 3rd in the queue that just flashed through at the top of picture. no messing around here. All the drivers out there on circuit, they're going to give it one more lap here. And the next time they cross the line, the checkered flag will be waving as we make our way down towards the final chicane. And we're going to start now the lap. So sector times are going to be crucial. We'll do our best to keep an eye on all of those for you as they make their way up to the start-finish line to start what will be their one and only flying laps in the second half of this session. Yiffy turns in. Here comes Sebastian Esner. He's turning in towards first corner now to make his way down towards Eau Rouge. Through La Source, just coming out there was Lucas Dunner. So here we go then. Let's keep an eye on sector times. 1 minute left and one lap to potentially change the order. Yiffy leads us as we come onto the Camel Straight. He is currently on pole position, so he can afford to go for this here because he's got half a second over everyone, so he can take risks on this lap. But if you're the likes of Andreas Esner, Glenn Van Berlo, Nicholas Cruton, you can't take any risks. So it's a real balancing act here. Yiffy has that power to take as many risks as he wants. But Nicholas Cruton, mentally, this is going to be a real challenge for him because he wants to get a good lap, but at the same time, he can't afford any mistakes whatsoever. Sebastian Esner has just gone purple through the first sector. He is the one second in this queue. Yiffy has gone a little bit slower. Cohen and Sebastian Esner, both personal best for them, so a good start to the lap. Sebastian Esner only 1.5 tenths off, which would leave him in second, and Yiffy only 200ths off of his best. Also going quicker, Louis Foster, Bardignon, Andreas Esner, all going quicker so far. Nicholas Cruton has had a poor first sector, likewise Glenn Van Berlo, so not looking good for them so far. Checkered flag is now waving. Here comes Yiffy. He's making his way round to complete the second sector. What are we going to have for Sebastian Esner? And Yiffy has gone fastest. So a new personal best for Yiffy, and it's the fastest anyone has gone. Sebastian Esner on track here to potentially finish in second place. Ido Cohen on track to improve as well as they make their way now round Blanchimont. This for the final time. Yiffy, is he going to go even quicker with only one lap to do it? He doesn't have to, but it's Yiffy, and he'll want to take yet another pole position as he comes now through the final chicane, makes his way up to the start-finish line. Here we go then. Who's going to be on pole position by the time all the cars get to the line? Yiffy goes fastest, 209.5. Sebastian Esner will join him on the front row. Ido Cohen, can he improve? Dunner goes faster, yes, good spot. So Dunner goes to the top. We're waiting to see the likes of Ido Cohen come up to the line. He's about to come across the line now. Maloney's gone to third. Esner is fourth. Cohen is fifth. Maldonado is now seventh. We've had Sebastian Esner go up to fifth. Cameron Daz has gone up to fourth place. Lucas Dunner quickest. Can anyone beat that? Andreas Esner goes to eighth. Pedersen has gone to seventh. Louis Foster now jumps up the order as well. But where is Louis Foster? He's dropped all the way down to 13th on that final lap. Bardignon 14th. Matthias Luton, of course, out. He is in 15th. And we had a time deletion for Sebastian Esner on that final lap, and that's dropped him down to 14th place. Wow, what a final lap that was. Lucas Dunner takes pole by 45 thousandths of a second over Yiffy. Zay Maloney, with his improvement, jumped to third. Cameron Daz has put himself on row two. What a lap that was from Nicholas Cruton. He went up to fifth place with a brilliant time, 2:10.078. So Nicholas Cruton went from being 9 seconds off to half a second off in that final lap. And his first sector was not very quick either, so he had a particularly good second and third one. Benjamin Pedersen went to sixth. Andreas Esner, I think he'll be fairly happy with that, up to seventh. Likewise, I think Glenn Van Berlo will be very happy with that. He's put himself in eighth. Ido Cohen was third, and he now drops to ninth. What a disaster for him on the final lap. There's your top 10 in full. Rui Andrade at the bottom of the order in terms of the top 10. I think he'll be quite happy with that as well, Rui Andrade. I mean, he was at the top of the standings at one stage, but 1.2 seconds off 10th place. That's a pretty good day's work for him in qualifying one. But a real shame for Louis Foster in 11th, because he was 5th. Went out on that final lap, and to be honest, I thought he would have been fairly safe within those top 5, but everyone pretty much improved their times. 2:10.876 for Louis Foster, and that leaves him in 11th. So this restart really didn't work in his favour. Alexandre Bardigny on 12th, Manuel Maldonado 13th. He'll be disappointed with that. Sebastian Esner with that time deletion was 14th. And then Matthias Luton in 15th. What did you make of that, Elliot?
No funny business. I enjoyed that a lot. You know, one lap shootout, no one was messing around. Some drivers got slipstreams, but all in all, you know, everyone's pretty much on their own. So we really saw who was quickest.
There's our pole sitter. Lucas Dunner makes his way in towards pit lane now. And Lucas Dunner, although he hasn't done every round, when he has been here, he's done pretty well, hasn't he? And, Lucas Dunner, that's his 4th pole position of the season. Great driving from him. Yiffy, the number 20 ahead of him, 2nd, and the car behind him, Zane Maloney, in 3rd. But 4th time Lucas Dunner qualifies on pole, and he will lead us with his teammate alongside him. So yet another head-to-head between those two. Had a very good last round at Mugello. Took the win from pole in race 1, finished 2nd in race 2. And he's already got himself up to 2nd in the standings. Although Yiffy is well off in the distance, and it would take an absolute disaster for him to lose this now. He will enjoy going head-to-head with his teammate once again.
And I think Zane Maloney's fastest lap's just been deleted.
Yes,
he has been dropped to 9th place, which means Cameron Dask is now in 3rd, and we've got another lap time. Well on to Sebastian Esmer.
Yeah, so that was already deleted. So Zane Maloney has just dropped from 3rd to 9th, just like that. So a time deletion, and I don't know if Zane Maloney knows that yet, but he is going to now start in 9th. So that means Cameron Daz will be 3rd. And what a turnaround for Nicholas Scruton. He's going to be 4th. And how about that for Benjamin Pedersen? 5th place.
On his debut. Great job.
Brilliant job from Benjamin Pedersen. Let's hear from our pole
Lucas
sitter.
Dunner, sensational pole in the very, very last moments of the session, and by a very short margin. That's what we like in qualifying, right?
Yeah, really interesting. We didn't do 2 runs like the others. We did 1 run, and it worked quite well. The 1 red flag wasn't actually good for us, but we managed to do 1 more lap, and at the end it was enough for pole. So really happy with that.
3 races here at Spa. It will be a very important weekend for your chase to IFEA.
Yeah, I think now, like you said, 3 races, 3 qualifyings. We have to take every point to get what we can get and score always in front of IFE. That's the most important for the championship, and I'll give everything I have to make this.
Well done. Thank you. See you later.
That's it from Spa from qualifying 1. Race 1 will be at 4:05, qualifying 2 at 11:50. We'll see you then.